suppose we might as well start and sort of get on with it. And I'd say good evening to everybody. Of course, we've got the wonderful honorary Freeman and glass artist Allister with us tonight. Who ever entertains us with amusement and whatever, not only on YouTube, but also with his social media, which is fantastic. I'd ask you all to mute yourselves because we've got a little film to show, which he's done, and then we can go into questions and answers because he's got lots of information to tell us of what's been going on. Okay, here we go.
Oh, so we've got a beautiful May Day here, and as I'm a hot glass artist, I think what we'll do is do the rest of the video inside the museum, if that's all right by you.
Hi there, so I hope you forgive the pre-recorded nature of this video, but I thought what it'd be interesting to do is over the next few days film a few things so that we can give you an update from behind the scenes of the museum, but also in the studio. One of the major things that's happened here in the museum itself is the flooring. Over a period of a couple of years, the metal beams obviously expanded and contracted with the heat, which caused the floor to crack a little. So we've, over the last couple of months, had contractors back in to relay the flooring. So not a lot has changed downstairs in here. You see we're currently using the space for socially distanced meetings. It's quite handy in that respect, but a lot of planning has gone on. I guess one of the most exciting developments is that we now have a team of people to help push this project along. And so I think it's with great delight that I'd like to go and introduce you to some of the new workers on site. Hi all. So we've got Anna here. Hi Anna. And
Hi.
You'll have to remind me what's your exact title again?
Well, I think I've got the longest title of everybody. I am the Learning and Public Programmes Officer. I think I've got that right, but don't quote me on it.
Rolls off the tongue, doesn't it?
Oh, it does.
And what have you got stuck into since starting here so far?
Pretty much straight away designing the education and outreach sessions for the museum, which is really exciting.
Good stuff. And then we've got Stephen here as well. And how long have you both been working here now? It's been...
It's our fourth week, is that correct?
So,
yeah. Fourth week, I believe.
Yeah. And how are you finding it so far?
Yeah, it's a lot to get our head around. It's very intense, but it's a lot of exciting stuff, and I'm just really looking forward to actually getting my hands on the glass collection because I'm yet to see it. So.
Yeah, so remind me again, what's your official title for the museum?
My name's Stephen, and my title is the Curator and Projects Officer here at the museum.
Okay, it's another title that rolls off the tongue easily, isn't it?
That's right.
So you've got some interesting stuff on the desk here. Go on, give us a clue what's happening here.
So this is a folder from, we had a project here, an oral history project, I think it was titled Devices of the Cone, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
And various people came in, had their photograph taken, talked about their history in the trade. And this is a folder from a gentleman, get his name right, Malcolm Andrews. And it kind of just documents his career in the glass trade. So this is something that we're going to copy and have for our records, and then I need to return that to him pretty soon. But yeah, it's a fantastic collection, as you can see, just detailing his career within the trade, photographs, letters, different correspondence, articles, images and photographs of his work. So yeah, it's a good research document to add to our collection.
Great, and you'll be helping work in the thick of it, really, organising the exhibitions initially and working with the glass collections at Himley to prepare them to bring them.
Yeah, that's right. So one of the first things I'm going to be doing is working with Charles and working to refine the glass cases for the permanent exhibition. Obviously at the moment it's in store. I'm looking forward to going over next week and being able to work with the collection and see it firsthand. As I say, 4 weeks in I'm yet to see it, so I'm really itching to be able to see it. It's a fantastic collection.
Great. And Anna, you're going to be helping pull together events for schools, for all sorts of people to come in and We're hoping to, I guess, inspire the next generation of glass enthusiasts, really, aren't we?
Absolutely, absolutely. And what's quite nice is that my group isn't just sort of like a formal schools education. It's also like informal groups, you know, all sorts of people of all ages who might like to come to the museum, perhaps not necessarily knowing much about glass or anything at all, and then hopefully being really inspired whilst they're here and learning lots about it.
Brilliant. Lovely. Well, nice to meet you all again. Here we have Lynn Berlin. And hi, Lynn. I guess you've been trustee to the British Glass Foundation for quite some time now, and it's nice to be surrounded by loads of people all of a sudden.
It is. It's really nice. I've been secretary to the trustees of the British Glass Foundation for about the last 10 years, and now I'm acting as Ollie's PA at the brand new Stourbridge Glass Museum.
Yeah, and so handling a HF fit out. It's keeping you a little bit busy at the moment.
Very busy at the moment. But we're all enjoying it.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
new staff and Ollie, and we're a great team.
Yeah, good. And Ollie, looking at on the computer screen a newly refurbished Stuart Crystal sign, which is looking quite swanky next door. I'll take them in and show them behind the scenes there. But would you like to say anything at the moment? Or?
Yeah, so my name's Ollie Buckley and I'm the founding museum director of what will be Stourbridge Glass Museum. And I am project managing the whole project. At first, it's really the NLHF mainly funded project to open a new museum of glass in the heart of the Glass Quarter. But I'm now line managing a team of staff, and obviously once the museum's opening, my job will be more like managing the business of the museum, making sure it's sustainable financially. But at the moment it's been the fun bit, it's been the kind of creating the design of the permanent galleries and setting things up for my new team.
Yeah, fantastic. Lovely. Cheers.
Cheers.
Take care. So there is one other role which has been taken up, and that's the volunteer coordinator. Sadly, Donna's not in today, so we'll have to introduce you at some point in the future. And so here in the activity room, we've got the Stuart Crystal sign, which a guy called Peter Meehan has been working on for considerable length of time now, with a scalpel blade, scraping away bits of no-nails and over painting to take it back to its original sort of base layer, if you like. So he's done a beautiful job, but as I say, it was painstaking work. He sort of assumed a stress position and just scratched away to take it back to its sort of bottom layer. And then he's put a layer of coating on, which has really brought the colours out. So this eventually will go on display in the foyer of the museum. We're currently working with a company called Design Map, who have been looking at the designs of the museum. For those of you in the know, you may be aware of a document that I put together called the Vision document, which outlined a series of objects that we had and some of the great stories that we have to tell here in the museum. We spent a long time trying to work out how we could make those stories interesting to non-specialists. Design Map have really picked up where I left off and the other guys left off, and they've really run with the idea to create some great floor plans. I feel that we've been really lucky to be able to work with these guys. Daniel Sutton has brought a level of attention to detail that we're certainly benefiting from. Here on their website, I can show you some of the major projects that they've been involved with, bringing some amazing heritage projects to life. Design Map have been looking at the floor plans. The museum entrance is just here with the foyer. You know, we've looked at where the reception desk sits compared to where it is now, and how the flow of the public can wander around the downstairs space before they maybe access into the glass blowing studio. And we've got the activity room here. And so if we were to look at some of the detail quite closely, here we have the museum reception desk, just for example. If we scroll to the left of this board, there's a two-dimensional spec drawing on what would be required to be manufactured, and we've got a series of these drawings for all sorts of pieces of furniture throughout the museum. So these have taken some time to get to a certain level that we're comfortable to hand over now to fabricators to give us quotes for the fit out. But it's been no small feat on Daniel Sutton's part to get it to this level. I think that the ground floor is quite an exciting space. I mean, the blue boxes represent cabinets which will house the collection, but around those we've got some really interesting items. This one being a low-tech workstation for people to have a go at various activities, whereas on the opposite side I think we've got it's fair to say some high-tech items where people can have a go at designing their own piece of glass. But maybe one of the really interesting features is this curved wall, where we'll be recreating the atmosphere within a cone with projections, so that people can actually feel like they're stepping inside an old factory. And so the details have been worked up fairly extensively. And in fact, there is too much to go through in what is a short, brief update on what's happened within the museum. But I thought it'd be interesting for you to kind of see some of the subheadings so that you understand. So things are moving along nicely with the fit out and how we're planning to move forward with that, which then leads us to how we're going to market ourselves. We've had an agency look at producing a website for us so that we can market the events and what's going on in the museum, and also look at how we're going to present ourselves on social media. And so in the coming weeks, we'll be revealing more news on that. So watch this space, there's going to be some exciting developments. I think what we'll hopefully try and do is regularly post so that people can see developments as they're happening week by week on site here. And so that brings us to an update for the studio. It's been a fairly eventful 12 months for us in here. Pleased to say that we're still busy at it. So it's 4:30 on Monday, and we're just starting to fill the furnace. Say we, but we've got Maddie in the background, all recycling Dartington Crystal's waste. There she goes, in it goes. And that'll sit there for 10 hours, refining out till we get a good quality glass tomorrow. So we've got my my list of jobs in the background, which is ever increasing at the moment, and a small display of work that we have. One of the things that's really changed for us in the last 12 months is that we've obviously had to change the way in which we showcase what we do to the world. We've been working with a company helping us to refine how we present ourselves on social media and online. and that our main principles really there are to educate, entertain and inspire, and through that we can keep delivering a story online about how we are successful at what we do. When we open up again and the museum's in full working order, we'll be obviously doing demonstrations every day of the week, but we wanted to showcase what we're currently playing around with. And so there were 3 demonstrations. There was the Halloween demonstration, a Christmas demonstration, and also a Chinese New Year demo. So we've got the angel, which was produced for part of that demonstration in the background, alongside the dragon. And so we're going to share a little bit of the footage of those now, so you can see the highlights.
Oh, this is good.
Last one. We've seen you shoot those front 2 again.
Yeah, maybe.
There have been a lot of exciting things happening in the studio. Sadly, I can't really go into a lot of them because we've got non-disclosure agreements on when these projects are allowed to be talked about, mainly because it's involving film, and they were a little bit strict on what can and can't be said. But one of the things we can show you is the new cordial range which I've developed. It's using sterling silver leaf on the surface with cane work that we've manufactured on site to create a really sort of vibrant, zesty sort of feel. So I'll show you a few close-ups of those. So that rounds off the update from the studio. Now I've got Darren and Maddie working in the background on some lighting pieces, and it's been fairly eventful. With the galleries now opening up, we're finding that we're getting incredibly busy in the studio, which is really great news. And with activity ramping up in the background of the museum, we know it's going to be a really busy year ahead. So I guess all I can say is I hope you've enjoyed the update and watch this space, because there's going to be quite a lot happening here. It's going to be a hive of activity for the coming months. Thanks again. Take care.
That was fantastic.
Certainly was.
You certainly don't stand still, Allister.
No. The problem, the minute I've got a mobile phone, I just I no longer stand still while I'm chatting away to people.
All documented.
Yeah.
Which is great. Which are one of the reasons I think you won your award with the British Glass last year.
I see.
Was your marketing and the way you've innovated, telling everybody about what you do. I think they were very impressed, which is quite unusual for somebody to get an award outside their membership.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting anything to come of that, to be honest with you. I thought, well, we'll put it in. It'll be nice to experience what goes on there. But yeah, it was a bit of a jaw dropper that particular moment in time for the year. Yeah.
No, I think it was a great accolade to you and all the efforts that you've put in, especially with all the difficulties that there were last year.
Yeah, it's been. I think there was quite a lot of soul searching that we had to do. You know, the minute that the world shut down in March, and it's obviously quite a tricky thing when you're sitting in your back garden and hearing that I guess a lot of people must have gone through the same thing. We were being told that if you weren't a key worker, then really what you did, psychologically, it felt like that you didn't bring any worth to the country.
Yes. And
so it took quite a lot of soul searching to actually realise that actually it does matter to society. Actually, you know, I think that's one thing we've learned over the last sort of 12 months, that life's pretty dull without culture and art in your life. You know, if you're just stuck in your sitting room, and so it is quite an important thing. But actually, the selfish part of me just bloody loves what I do. So I thought I'm going to fight hard to keep doing it. And so,
true artist.
Yeah.
I know we were very privileged to see some work that was being done on a specific film last year, which we won't mention for obvious reasons. But have you had some more commissions since then, or was that the one you were alluding to?
We've now done Glass. Our Glass will be the star of 4 films. The first one being hopefully due to come out with that particular one was Sony. We've been involved with Disney, most recently Netflix, and another one I've forgotten the other, but there's some sort of major films. How long these pieces of glass will be in these films, or I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, it's sort of snowballed, and it's just the fact we've been continually putting out there the fact that we're here ready to play if people want us to, and so that message is sort of connected with a lot of people, I believe. So it's fortunately brought in work that I love doing. Actually, I didn't really get into the job to produce as much as I like the new range. Don't really want to be making thousands of them. It's creating new pieces in response to clients' briefs that I kind of enjoy doing. So it's not.
I'm sure I ought to know, but where exactly is the museum?
It's in Stourbridge. Well, it's in
Stourbridge itself.
It's sort of in Wordsley. Do you know the Red House Cone?
Yes. Yeah.
So we're just directly opposite over the road from there. So the old Stuart Crystal site.
Excellent. Yes, excellent. And you'll have a shop there, I imagine, to sell all your.
We've got a small display space within the studio here. Yeah, right next door to the museum. And realistically, when the museum opens, we'll be forming a major part of the visitor experience. So members of the public will be able to walk in and watch us. But we fall within the pay boundary of the visitor sort of experience, if you like. So.
And I think people are going to want to buy your product.
Fingers crossed, yeah.
I'm sure they will.
I should mention that sadly, one of the members of staff that I introduced to, Anna, worked 2 days a week at another museum. She was our public engagement officer, or I forget what the exact title was again, but Anna is, although she's only been with us for 4 weeks, she's now destined to move on because the place that had her for 2 days a week has managed to just bag funding to increase her hours, and so we've already appointed, I believe, her replacement. So Anna's sort of working out her notice period currently. So there's already a change of faces behind the scenes. And one of the trickiest parts of this development phase for the museum was that the council had to close all sites, including Himley Hall, where the collection is currently housed.
Yeah.
So it's been tricky to remotely select objects, and well, obviously we haven't been able to do any object preparation in terms of cleaning, condition reports. It's all got to have condition reports done at Himley before they're then brought here, and then the conditions verified once they arrive on site. So they had their first meeting at Himley yesterday, so it's just now starting to happen that they can gain access to play with the collection, I guess is the best way to put it.
When your curator, project manager, referred to Charles, is that Charles Hadamack?
Yes, yeah.
So he's involved.
Yeah, Charles has been brilliant. You know, there's been what we've been relying on really is that before Broadfield closed, Charles being the gent he is in terms of his need to record information, he'd gone around photographing every single cabinet at Broadfield, and he created his own little list of what was there for his own personal use, and that's enabled us to work from those records to really sort of motor on. But he's also the main person with all the stories locked up there, so he can kind of tell us which are the interesting stories, and the stories have then led us to be able to choose the objects that we can then put on display, because it's well, as he described it, it's like trying to choose your favorite child. You know, you've got thousands of pieces of glass, and he's got to narrow it down to a small selection. It's a tricky ask.
What percentage of the collection is going to be on show?
I'm not sure what sort of percentage. We're looking at around about 1,000 pieces. You know, all being said, it might be 750, it might be 1,200, but I think all the consultation that we did, it suggested that we weren't really going to inspire the next generation of glass lovers by filling this building to the rafters with glass. You know, we needed to, that might be the end goal, but we need to generate some more glass lovers to justify doing that first. So to bring in more interactives and tell the stories and get people interested in the history was sort of the way to try and encourage non-specialists to become specialists. Yeah.
Allister, my question was, how are you capturing those stories? Because it'd be awful for those to get lost, I guess, because that's probably what will make younger people fall in love with glass and understand the history and all that kind of stuff. But what are you doing to do that?
Well, there's a map interactive where there's a three-dimensional sort of landscape in one corner of the museum, which will, I think consultants suggested that everybody loves a map, spotting where they live, where the house is, and learning what was once there, you know, and so through a series of sort of there'll be audio stories told of people working in the factories, and there's a lot of sort of touch screens and I think there's audios and screens upstairs where there'll be stories being told there.
Interactive.
How does the available space compare with Broadfield?
How does it compare?
Yeah, I mean, is it more? But you're trying to do different things, really, aren't you?
We're trying to do different things. I mean, it's it's sort of almost in you can't really compare it, because the architects, to put a positive spin on it, would say that there's more space, but actually, because Broadfield was a series of small rooms, you could put cabinets all the way around the room, where you can't really do that in an open plan space. You know, you haven't got as many walls to play with, for one. So it's been an interesting sort of game. I would say we've probably got an equal amount of space gallery floor wise, but at Broadfield, unless you've been behind the scenes, you know, there was probably the same amount of space behind the scenes. Barbara would know. You know, it was quite. There was quite a lot of nooks and crannies behind the scenes and storage areas, and we haven't got quite as much of that at the museum here. I guess that's where Himley comes in, and our ability to store the collection there, and Dudley's still honouring its commitment to do that there.
Yeah. And when is it envisaged that the new museum will open?
We're going out to the tender process has started, and so we've already had a few guys come back and state that they're at full capacity and aren't able to quote for elements of the fit out, but we're quite confident that we're going to get enough contractors to make comparisons. I forget what the limit is, but over a certain limit, we have to have 3 quotes for various things. And the aim is to get the place finished for an April opening. So behind the scenes, that's what everybody's aiming for. I think because I'm one of the few trustees that's very hands-on and having to run my own business. I think since lockdown's relaxed, it feels somewhat trickier to get things done, and I think it may have hit a lot of companies hard psychologically. I think Brexit may not have helped. COVID certainly hasn't helped when it comes to buying acrylic, you know, because everybody's walloped it up everywhere, thinking that's what's going to stop the spread of germs. And so it wouldn't surprise me if the time schedule slipped a little bit, but we're already making plans for the festival, but with the main aim of opening in April.
Good.
I think Vanessa's going to do an exhibition on the opening, isn't she?
Yes, Ollie invited her to become the first exhibiting artist, contemporary exhibiting artist here. So she's got a temporary exhibition. Yeah, so I imagine she's busy away at the moment, trying to get plans ahead for that.
Yes, I'm hoping to catch up with her next week, because I'm down in the south next week. So I'll get an update with that, see how it's progressing. And of course, we've now got the announcement that the International Year of Glass is going to be declared by United Nations officially at their assembly between the 17th and 18th of May.
I thought we weren't allowed to talk about that until they've done so.
Well, I mean, we can talk about it because it is official. I mean, it's been known, but it hasn't been nationally sort of declared out loud, so to speak. But, I've had an email from their the person that's been driving it, so it is official.
Good.
It's going to take place. It's just got to be done, which makes it all very, very exciting.
I think it's tremendous.
It is.
Allister, what's your relationship with Ollie? Obviously, you've just said and told us you're a trustee. Presumably, he is also a trustee. But you were talking about his staff. Clearly, you're not a member of his staff, I assume. Is that correct?
Yeah, no. I'm currently a trustee, and Ollie's he's the director of the museum. So it's quite a bizarre relationship in that the board of trustees are sort of strategically implementing and appointing people, Ollie being slightly below that under the pyramid of control, I guess. But then Ollie's directing the site, so he's got 3 members of staff. As far as the studio goes, we have a lease for the studio itself. It's currently under review with the Charities Commission because it's quite a complex relationship, that is, to be honest with you. And so I guess purely because not wishing to, because I still think I've got quite a lot to give for the British Glass Foundation, but that it's going to be tricky for me to deliver demonstrations here and run a business that has to thrive in order to look great for the museum, whilst well, it can't be seen that this was just purely set up for my financial benefit, really.
No, I get that.
And so that's the really tricky element of it. So we're waiting to see what the Charities Commission say on that level. I mean, currently, every time there's anything to do with building and lease or budgets that may have decisions to do with the studio, then I declare a conflict of interest and step out currently, so that I have nothing to do with those sorts of conversations. So we will see. Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm sorry to have to report that one of your generous funders has just died. A chap called Clive. You probably, there's no reason why you should know. It's a chap called Clive Richards.
Yeah. Yeah.
You knew him, did you? Or knew of him? The Clive and Sylvia Richards Trust.
Yeah, I went to his house. Well, I was lucky enough to meet him. I don't know whether it was the year before last.
Yeah.
As part of the interview process before they awarded us some funding. Yeah, it was.
Oh right.
Real gentleman.
Great cherries amongst them. But he's a very generous funder, and he was the biggest owner of Nelson memorabilia, I think, in the world.
Yeah, right.
Is that an indication, Anne? She's clocked Bongie.
Oh, sorry. I never hear it. I'm so used to it.
But I'm very sad he died just the other day. You actually met him, did you?
Yeah, we had to attend for an interview, and yeah, they were very thorough. We were joking about it because he and Graham were good friends, and Graham had explained that he'd been along on a shoot with them, and so that they'd known each other for some years. But he gave us such a grilling at interview. I said to Graham afterwards, "Did you shoot him in the foot or something?" Because but it was an interview conducted thoroughly and properly as it should have been. But it was good. But yeah, they've got an amazing setup.
Yeah.
Where did all the money derive from? Do you know?
I did know back then, but I can't remember now, to be honest with you.
What, you mean Clive Richards' money, or?
Yes.
He was an accountant, KPMG, and he was a businessman in Birmingham for a while.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. But I mean, the fund is absolutely enormous.
Oh yeah, but he was a very rich man.
Oh right, okay.
And he funded lots of things. They contributed in a major way. One hesitates to say it now, to the Sackler wing of the National Maritime Museum at Greenwich. I remember going across to him. The reason I knew him was that he was master gunmaker, and I was clerk to the gunmakers for a number of years.
Ah, right.
And he was enormous fun, very enthusiastic and quite demanding. but a very generous and lovely chap. But he ate too much, drank too much, played too much rugby, did all the wrong things, and he was diabetic as well. So he lived a full life.
That's like a splendid chap.
It sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Sounds like a lot of fun indeed.
It certainly was. We had great fun together. Well, I'm glad that the Trust, nevertheless, has helped support the British Glass Foundation and the museum.
That's quite a good input with that.
Mm.
Have you, I know that there is on the drawing board discussions with the Biennale and stuff, so we won't talk about that now because that's quite a lot to do. But might you be tempted to get your Freedom of the City of London, Allister?
I might. We're going to look into it. I promise. I've had my hands full this year.
What? No, really? And Maddie and Darren are all right, are they?
They are. They're quite busy as well. Darren's just moved house, and so he's busy installing a kitchen. And Maddie, we've increased Maddie's hours actually because she was actually assisting us for a couple of days a week, and we found that we've actually just become a busier studio in the last 12 months, where we just couldn't get by with her on such a low part-time rate. But it was obviously meant to be, because at the same time, there all her other contracts that she was doing, all those places closed down, and so she became a little bit more dependent on us for income at the point where we needed her as well. So it was sort of, the timing just seemed right, really.
Oh, great stuff. It's amazing how things work out for the better.
Yeah.
If you have a positive attitude and whatever. So it sort of works together quite nicely.
And she's currently, having watched a few demonstrations on Instagram, trying to make figurative work, and so hopefully we'll be able to share some of her initial test pieces. There's a few big bummed female ladies at the moment, and so she's just trying to get the proportions right. She's getting there, but there's some funny figures being produced at the moment.
That's fantastic. Did you by any chance see the Elliot Walker live demonstration that he did at Peter Layton's?
I saw bits of it. Yeah.
I mean, the size of that cotton reel.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, the weight towards the end. I mean, I was sitting on the edge of my chair.
Yeah, we saw as he started it and realised that he was going to be casting on thread after thread after thread. Myself and Terry both said, "Oh, we might have gone for something 2/3 the size of that. They'll regret that in an hour's time." And
I think that's what his plan was, because he said towards the end that it was bigger than what he'd originally planned.
Yeah.
Sadly, it did not survive the lair.
Oh, did it not?
No.
Dang.
And he's now, which I'm helping him along with Anthony Scala and Anthony's father, on Friday week, he's doing a live demonstration of gas in Seattle. I put in quotation marks. So that was a dry run, and we're having another dry run this Sunday.
That's fantastic.
Exciting.
It will be. Should be good. But he's not going to be so ambitious this time.
We might be getting Allister to do something as well, I think.
So what happened to it, Mark? Did it crash, fall off? Or...
I think bits of it cracked.
Yeah.
But as you say, I think it was too big.
Yeah.
Got carried away. But he enjoyed it. It was good fun.
Yeah. I think it's quite, from my point of view, it's sad that it went wrong, but I think it's something that the public kind of need to see, that these, everybody gets to see the perfect pieces on the shelf at the end of the day, but it's not often that people get to see how many times things go wrong before you get to those perfect. sort of items, and it's sort of I think it helps people understand the price tag that comes with some of the pieces we make as well, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yes,
I think there's a general misunderstanding of the costs of the inputs too. I mean, the gas, the glass, the electricity, whichever you're using, so to speak. I think people don't realise. Not to mention the gallery commission.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, but by the time you take off the gallery commission, you've halved the price, and then you've probably halved the price again with the inputs.
Mm. Yeah, that's right.
Yes, I think it's certainly something that people that collect glass actually appreciate all the effort that goes into it, but novices that are coming in and looking at it don't actually realise the effort and the input that actually takes place to actually produce a piece. And I think by doing the demonstrations, and particularly the live streaming demonstrations, it just gives people an element of perspective and reality of what it's all about.
I think the other thing it gives the perspective of is a team effort. Very few people can do it on their own. The only man I know who really does it brilliantly is Bill Goodenrath. And if you go on Corning's website, look for him blowing Venetian glass. It's quite extraordinary. He does it all on his own, except for the drawing of the canes. And he makes these fantastic pieces.
Worth a look at, I think.
Yeah. If you want to binge watch his videos. I mean, it's quite extraordinary how he does it.
Is that the one? That's the Venetian piece of glass that you've got? Is it, Mark?
Yes.
That you showed last night.
Sure.
Just getting it.
Here you are. I don't know whether you could see it.
That's it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely stunning.
It is amazing. But he would have blown that on his own. And he wanted to make it quite extraordinary.
Well, I think that's we're nearly up to time, so I think we'll sort of ask the master to sort of extend greetings and thanks.
Allister, thank you for a fascinating tour of the museum and of your workshop. I particularly love the fire-breathing dragon. That was a great piece. Your glass artistry skills and your publicity skills, I think, are unrivaled. And to hear of you being involved in films with Sony, Disney Plus, Netflix, and so forth, it's just quite outstanding. You have a great talent, you clearly do. And we all hope earnestly that the museum does manage to open in April next year, and that it will be an enormous success, and it will be a great tribute to your efforts and to glass artists as a whole. And Barbara as well has been involved in this, I know.
Not in this, not in this.
I thought you had. But anyhow, thank you for spending a bit out of your busy time, an hour with us to show us all about it and let us see a little of your skills. And I noted that the clerk was bullying you about freedom of the city. That's what clerks are for. That's what they do. So we hope you'll be able to proceed to that pretty soon. But thank you for a lovely evening. Thank you for Paul for arranging it. And thank you for all of you for taking part and watching and listening. Great evening. Thank you very much.
Good night.
Well done, Allister. Well done.
Yeah.
Thank you. Got next Thursday, probably one of the other iconic glass artists in the British glass world is David Reiki, and Morag is going to join us next Thursday and talk about his work and the glass that he produces. So I'll send that out over the weekend, and we'll look forward to seeing you all next Thursday, which will be the 20th And meantime, everybody take care, stay safe, and we look forward to seeing you all very, very soon, possibly in reality on the 22nd of June.
Wish I.
That should be written in red letters in your diaries.
I hope so. Okay. Good night and take care.
All right, thanks, everyone.
Bye, everyone.